Hi everyone, I'm Dave Mulvaney here with Mike Godwin to my right, Dan Schultz to my left. Mike, we're welcoming back for the second week.
Made the cut for the second week?
Dan, as always, reliable and here.
Yes, absolutely. Always on time.
With some great insight, as always.
Yep.
Dan, how you doing this week?
I'm doing well.
And Mike, how you doing this
Great,
week?
actually. We're coming off a win.
Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll see how great,
over there.
how great that we're really doing. But let's start off by recapping the few games that we did have in the A this week. Unfortunately, the weather did hit us a little bit. So for the safety of the players, we had to cancel games starting after the 6 o'clock games we ran, but any games after that we had to cancel. There will be information on how we're going to make those games up sent out soon. So captains, just stay tuned. Your emails. All games this coming week will be on as scheduled, but we will do everything we can to get the past games made up. As long as we don't have any more snow coming this season on Sundays. So pray for good weather. All right, let's start off with the Blue Devils versus ACC. Mike,
Yeah.
Blue Devils are struggling. ACC is getting hot at the right time.
Is that even a question? You're supposed to ask me a question first, but
I just want to hear your thoughts on it.
you're correct. ACC is definitely, I don't know if I'd call them a sleeper, because they're always there in the end. They're always a good team. And Blue Devils, same thing. They just hit a rut in the road. But hopefully they come back from it. What's that, 2 straight for them?
Yeah. Now, Mike, I wanted to ask you a question first because I wanted to give Dan a minute to look down at his former favorite team, the Randy-less Blue Devils.
The ghosts of Randy Evelyn and Dave Henninger are just haunting this team. This is not the same. I know I've said this before. This is not the same Blue Devils team I grew up watching as a little kid. This is just a very different team. It doesn't mean they're a bad team. They're very different. C.J. Brown obviously had a very good game with 25 points. Pat McCusker 10 points, 11 rebounds. But yeah, ACC. I think you can call them a sleeper because I don't think they're considered to be in the same category as the best squad or drunk monkeys or the crew or hot shots. But I think they should be considered to be right there in the pack. I don't think they're by league standards, at least by a lot of other teams in the league. I don't think a lot of other teams really consider them to be that much of a threat.
No, going into the season, absolutely not. But now, I mean, the way they played the best squad a few weeks ago, they hung right with them the whole game.
Yeah.
But before
Even last season, who'd they beat in the playoffs? They had a big win in the playoffs.
Well, they always do, but that's the thing. They've always had not so great regular seasons, and then they turn it on in the playoffs. But
with the league getting tougher every season, you wonder if they would be able to sustain that.
Yep.
And they keep showing us they can. So Brian Salter continues to do a phenomenal job putting this team together. Now, before we give ACC a little bit more praise, I want to ask both of your guys' feelings on this and thoughts. Can the McGee brothers play together? 7 points for one, 5 for the other. Is this something you have to worry about going forward?
Great question.
this is the first season that they've been together, I think. So Isaiah,
There shouldn't be chemistry issues, though. They're brothers.
I know they played together for forever, so I would think that the answer would be yes. But yeah, obviously, when you only have 10 points combined between the two of them, I mean, they need to be a consistent offensive threat for their team.
The real question is having 2 sets of brothers on the same team.
That's true.
Will that work? It
Well,
looks like Frank wasn't there
Seems
this
like
week.
double
but-
jeopardy.
well, I was actually on Facebook the other day, and Pat McCusker, something that he posted on there came across my news feed, and it was something about check out the big guy Duncan, and all I could hope for is just seeing Pat rise up and throw it down on a video. I would have loved it. I was going to go crazy, but you know what I saw? I see Pat passing it to somebody to dunk the ball. I was like, oh man.
Good pass, Pat.
I guess he got the assist in warm-ups. I don't know.
He's a team player.
I was extremely disappointed.
He's a team player. If anything, that shows that he's willing. Now, was it Pat or Frank that tried to dunk in our game that we have on video?
That was
To
Frank,
save-
I believe.
I was trying to save
This is a
Frank,
safe
and I was
pick.
blaming Pat just because we know what we're going to get from Pat. Frank is still new to the league. We were giving him a shot. But now it's the whole McCusker
We-
family
we-
that I have to start questioning.
If we ever do a not top 10, that dunk, oh
we
man.
might be able to find it in
shoot,
the
at
archives.
least he got close enough to dunk. I can't even do that, but yeah.
I can touch the net.
But yeah, ACC. I mean, you know, when you have three guys in double figures, you're going to be in a good situation to win the game, and they did. They almost won by double digits. So yeah, they're definitely a team to look at going forward.
And that's with Isaiah Mason only taking one
Yeah,
shot.
only
He's
taking
one of
one
their better
shot.
players.
Did he pull Kobe?
I don't know if he just showed up
Was
last
it like
5
his,
minutes of the game or what.
yeah? Was it like his team was calling him out for like shooting too much, so he pulled a Kobe, and he's like, all right, I'll take like one shot. That's it. I'll just pass.
Well, Trevon Moore, who is an All-Star candidate, we'll talk more about the All-Stars in a little bit, so you guys can check out that at the end of this video. But Trevon Moore continues to play great basketball. 9 of 13 for 20 points. Just impressive. ACC on the right track. Blue Devils, I don't know, give Randy a call. Have him come in and give you guys a pep talk or something. I don't know what else to say. Next up, we have Urban Promise versus Brothers. Now, Urban Promise has gotten a few mercy rules under the belt, and they've been on the wrong end of that. Dan, is this promising that they weren't mercy ruled this week? Are they going in the right direction?
You know, I mean, do you want me to be completely honest?
I think they do. They want you to be honest.
All right. I think Urban Promise Wilmington, you should think about joining the B division next year because it's, I mean, we've complimented their crowd, and that's basically it so far. And there's kind of a reason for that. I mean, you know,
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm sorry, like, brothers are a pretty good team.
Don't listen to him, Urban Promise.
Brothers are a pretty good
I
team.
picked them to win this game.
You picked Brothers to win this game?
No,
or
Urban
Promise?
Promise.
Yeah,
I think I did.
Brothers are a pretty good team, but this is the game for me that if Urban Promise Wilmington was going to show us anything, it was going to be this game. And to lose by 18 points, that's not really doing it for me. I
Yeah.
said it as nicely as I could.
Now, Mike, at the other end, you look at Brothers. Another win. I think that gives them. I have to check my standings real quick, but that gives
I'm
Brothers.
confused over here.
Let me see.
3-1, I think.
Well, there's just so many teams to keep track of. Brothers go to 2-2 on the season, puts them at 500. I think that puts them at 4 or 5 in their division. So they're hanging in there for their
They
first
are.
season. And you know, AJ Hicks continues to score 12 points. But I would have liked to seen them put up a little bit more than 45 this week.
Well, that's the thing. Like you, in this league, it's kind of, we kind of beat this to death. But I mean, you really have to put up like 60, 70 points to hang around with the really, really good teams in this league. So yeah, you could get away with putting a 45 against Urban Promise, but and if you, it seems like Brothers have been in the 40s or low 50s a
They're
lot.
following the
games.
footsteps of Toon Squad A last season.
Who's what? Oh, okay.
Scoring 45 points a game, giving up 43. And just
So
keep
their
winning.
so their defense is really good. That's what you're saying.
If that's what it boils down to, that's what it is.
Okay.
But, you know, Urban Promise, I'm a huge fan. I'm rooting for you every week. So keep your heads up. Just continue to battle. And brothers, you know, keep it up. 2-2 now. Are you going to go above 500 or are you going to drop back below? These are the questions that need to be answered in the weeks coming up. Next up, this game, well, it was a heartbreaker for me. Bird Gang versus Aflac. And actually, I was getting a lot of compliments on Aflac's sideline on how good I'm getting at that. I mean, I knew it was good, even when I watch, every once in a while I watch these videos back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm getting better at this every week. I'm expecting probably a call from Aflac to ask for them if they, you know, want me to replace the voice.
Yeah, I've heard the career path for normally a sport manager is go from being a sports manager at the HAC to a voice actor in Hollywood.
I think I could do both. I don't even think I'd have to be on set. I could just send them recordings. I have no problem with it. So, you know, I'm sure Aflac's already sent in these videos to the company.
Well, you're definitely not going to be yelling out Bird Gang's name anytime soon, so you might as well practice Aflac at this point.
You think they got a new locker room yet?
All right, you know what? I can't take it for
Isn't that ridiculous? Offer them a locker room. Oh my gosh.
Last
You
season,
look
Then you took
foolish.
it right out from under them just because they had one bad
And it's
playoff.
crippled them. It's crippled the
one
team.
bad play. They lost in the first round.
Yeah.
That's not a bad playoff. That's a terrible playoff.
Yeah, but that's your
It's not
team. You
much-
gave them a locker room, and then
terrible
you just
play.
took it right out from under them.
The
And
questions,
now look at them.
the questions I have about Bird Gang are, Where is Mark London? A little bit of snow on the ground. Just a little bit. And Mark,
They were missing
no
5
shot.
players.
But you look at John
5.
Byrne. John Byrne, 34 points, 12 rebounds. He did everything he could. Everything he could to keep them in this game.
Except make that game-tying shot.
He did miss a game winner.
Game-tying.
Game time. Oh, that would have tied it.
That would have put in double OT.
Man, free basketball. Free basketball for the fans.
No, we got 2 minutes of free basketball.
We wanted more.
Yeah, we
I wanted more.
At least another minute or so.
But I heard Bird Gang started with 4 players.
See, this is not a committed Bird gang. I'm sorry. And John Burr said it himself. He's only getting four guys to show up to games now. They had the same problem against Service Promise Wilmington a couple weeks ago.
Oh, Dan, is Mark London still starting material? Like when he finally has a chance to start, no matter what, because they only have 4 players, he doesn't show.
It's really unbelievable. I think you got to yank that card from him because you give him all that power, it goes to his head. He thinks he can just show up whenever he wants to or take off whenever he wants to. And look what happens.
John, on the website, there's a button you can press. It's called Wave.
Oh, man.
Get Mark out of there.
It's a locker room distraction. Oh, wait, they don't have a locker room. But it's a distraction. It's a distraction to Bird Gang.
If you want us to do it, I can do it for you. Send us an email. We'll hit that Wave button.
Now, I've created a nickname for Mark London. It's Fairweather Mark London. I'm adding Fairweather to it. Or Mark Fairweather London for that. I may change on the website too as his nickname. Just
I'm
because
sure-
a little bit of snow. Now, Terrell Davis, before we start talking about that.
You do realize you're saying a little bit of snow, and yet you canceled the games right after this.
Well, I mean, it's Mark. It's Mark. Joe Colangelo, big game for Bird Gang with 19 points. Terrell Davis, I saw at least 2 opportunities for him to dunk the ball. I don't know what he's waiting for. The Terrell Davis, I know, wouldn't even have questioned about just dunking it. Just the lift that would have gave the team.
I wonder how you're still alive based on how many times you've called out Terrell.
I avoided it. I avoided it at all costs. I saw him going in one door, I went out the other over a tackle. So I figure if I just keep my distance, I think I can still outrun him. I'll find out. I don't get close enough that I really have to know.
You do have bad ankles, though.
All right, now
Hopefully you have your high top sneaks.
let's talk about this Aflac team. All right, let's talk about it for a minute. Aflac now goes to 2-on-2 on the season. Leading scorer, Travis Johnson, 19 points. They have Trevon Hawkins, who, has been putting up great numbers. One of our top 3-pointers in the league, 18 points. Travis Brown, 14. Oh, no. R.T. Plumsky, only 3 points. RT said he can get you 12 to 15 every week.
1 for 9 shooting.
Better than over.
But-
yeah.
That's a low blow.
Wow. Not even on the beat
I'm going to
minute.
ignore him. But if you have hair like RT, you can shoot however you want. Best hair in the league. It's got to be good for something.
That's probably debatable.
Oh, you got the best hair in the league, right?
I mean, you have to have hair to have the best hair, but I just, he did give his team 4 rebounds and 2 assists. No turnovers, it looks like. So I'm seeing some promising stuff, but I really need him to step his game up. I mean, this team goes as RT goes. As I try to say that with a very straight face.
That's actually not true because he had a terrible game and they won. And 3 guys were in double figures.
He must still think he's in Florida
Yeah,
playing flag football.
Shot after shot, poor RT. I mean, he probably deserves it, but still.
RT's created himself. I heard players from the other team after seeing his posts were going up and saying, "Who's this RT guy?" They wanted him to be pointed out before the game. So maybe they decided maybe Bird Gang decided we're going to let them win, but we're going to shut RT down. Do you think that was strategy going into this?
It's a great strategy. Yeah,
They might have talked about that in the locker room.
Give up the loss, but
Wait, he took it from him.
Yeah.
they
All right.
deserve it.
That's going to wrap up our A Division recaps this week. We have All-Star Game, All-Star Games, All-Star activities, events, whatever you want to call them. They're coming up on March 2nd. All right, we're going to have a three-point shootout. For a three-point shootout, you can have 2 players from your team represent your team. And before we even get started on that, who are some guys that you guys would like to see in the three-point shootout?
Does it even matter? Vern Sharper's going to win it.
Yeah,
He's
I
been
don't
there,
think
said
Vern
last
never
couple
shows up for the three-point shootout.
Wow.
I think he was here last season. He just didn't
He
shoot.
just didn't do it.
Well, I would say Mark London, but it could rain outside.
What about Stacey Grady?
Stacey Grady. Huh? Dan, he's one of our top three-point shooters, if not the top right now.
Well, Dan thinks he should retire, so.
Yeah, still.
I've been a retired man.
I
Winning
think
3-point
I
game.
think it should be a final send-off between Stacey Grady and Danny Rodriguez. I would say Mark London, but again, it could rain outside, so we're not gonna. He's not gonna make it. But yeah, Danny and Stacey, I think it'll come down to that in the finals, and whoever's older.
You
will
got
win.
Jake Royal.
Super older. Listen,
He's got so many shooters.
you gotta want to see Stacey in there, of course. You have to want to see Vern.
But he's not gonna be there.
What?
He's not gonna be there.
I mean, who knows? Who knows? Vern has never won the three-point. He does the team shootout,
Yeah, but he doesn't do the three.
but not the three-point shootout.
Maybe he was just running a little bit late last season.
What about Jake Royal? If Jake Royal shows up, he's probably my dark horse. I would go with Jake.
That's very disrespectful to Stacey Grady, and I'm not going to take it. But I think Jake's probably going to win.
I mean, is Mark Lemon going to show up?
If he
Who
shows
knows? If he does,
This is all dependent on if anyone shows up at all. So hopefully they do.
we never know. We
You
never
get a
know.
trophy out of it. I mean, don't you like plastic trophies?
I do.
Yeah, I love plastic trophies.
I have a bunch of them from when I was like 8 years old. That
Medals.
was the last time I got one. We have our team shootout, which is 3 players from each team, and we have the A and B division All-Star games. There is talk of resurrecting the dunk contest.
Oh,
We need dunkers out.
We need if you are serious about attending and dunking,
you know who should be in it? Frank Cusker.
I think Pat should get that guy he put up on his Facebook to show up and just represent Blue Devils. That's what I want to see.
We need dunkers.
Yeah.
There's talk.
Not
There's
just a two-hand dunk, but actually like a trick dunk that you could pull off.
something that would make the crowd
Would
actually
it
look
help?
at the dunk contest.
Yeah.
If we secretly.
Don't even talk about our
Alright.
tricks. Don't talk about our
Alright,
tricks.
we have tricks, but we need dunkers.
So let us know if you're interested. If we have, players that can entertain.
I'm interested. I'll get back to you.
I have a list.
Thanks, but
I
no
have
thanks.
a list on my desk of dunkers that I think could be in it.
Well, there you go. The way the All-Star game is selected, it'll be off of player efficiency, which that reminds me, Stacey Grady right now is number 25 on player efficiency. Top 20 get in. Dan, what are the chances?
No chance whatsoever.
You don't think Stacey?
25 is his peak at this point.
You don't think we have one more game before the All Stars are selected. I think
And
Stacey.
they didn't even play this week.
I might. Well, that's why I extended about how many games you had to play.
Okay.
So now it's 2 instead of having to play 3. But I might be holding up a sign in the crowd in the Tigers game to say, get Stacey in the All Star game.
It's not gonna. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. Like, I wish I could see it too. I'm a big Stacey.
I think he's going to do it.
I'm a
He's
big
gonna
Stacey
do it.
Grady fan, but his time has passed. Okay, it's
He's going to go for
25. No one expected him to be number 25 right now. I think you should give him enough credit for that alone. I don't think you should get his hopes up, and then he gets in the Chuck Fest, and then,
What if he gets in the Chuck Fest and makes them all?
Well, that's not going to happen. But if it did,
Alright.
it would be good.
Scenario: better chance of something happening. Stacey Grady making the All Star game and playing in it, or LeBron dunking in the NBA dunk contest. Ever.
I would say LeBron dunking in the dunk contest. And I'm a big fan of Stacey Grady. I'm not that big of a fan of LeBron.
Oh man.
But yeah, I gotta go.
Did
with
you see
LeBron.
him dunking in practice yesterday?
Thrown it off the wall. I could see someone trying to throw it off the
See
net
what
here,
you created.
and then when the ball
You
doesn't
see
come back
what you
down.
started here. You mentioned LeBron, and he like jumps on it. Like,
Well, I gotta watch both you now. I can't mention the Spurs anymore, and I can't mention LeBron.
Nope.
I gotta cut them both out.
Yep.
All right, if you haven't checked out our promo video for the All-Star Game on Facebook page, go on, check that out. Kind of gives you an idea of what goes on. Some great pictures from last season's All-Star Game. So thanks a lot for checking us out. We will see everyone on Sunday. Anything from you, Dan?
I have nothing.
Mike?
Nothing from me.
All right.